Talk at Yonkers Raceway is usually about distance races, but tonight the conversation is about undefeated Jeffrey Resto going the 8-round distance as he returns to swing on the Star. And another cordial welcome to Star Boxing. I'm your host, Arnie Tokyo Rosenthal, in the house again with our boxing analyst, Steve Farhood. Welcome back to Yonkers.
Pleasure.
You know, tonight, Jeffrey Resto moving up. And you wouldn't think, for those of you at home, going from 4 to 6 to 8 rounds is a big deal, but perceived as a major step up tonight as he tries his first 8-rounder.
He's a good-looking prospect. The jump in rounds is much more psychological in importance than it is physical. These guys are in shape. Resto can go from 6 to 8. Psychologically, you don't want to punch yourself out. Can I go the distance? Do I have enough? If he can get over that hurdle, it'll be no problem at all.
His opponent tonight, Manuel Deleon, don't let his record fool you. Anytime a fighter has 20 more wins than his opponent, experience will be a factor.
Manuel Deleon has fought Buddy McGirt. He's fought Hector Camacho. Lost a couple in a row, 39 years old, but he's been around the block, and Resto needs to beat this kind of opponent to move up.
Big test for Resto tonight. Don't leave your seats. This and more on Star Boxing, and we'll be back with our first bout after these words.
Hey, boxing fans, come out for live boxing. Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing presents Rockin' Fights. For ticket information, go to starboxing.com or ticketmaster.com. See some of the best young fighters. Star Boxing, Rockin' Fights, it's a knockout.
Here comes the veteran, Manuel Jesus Deleon, originally out of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, now resides in the Bronx, as does his opponent tonight, Jeffrey Resto. He looks at this fight tonight as who gets to stay in the Bronx, who gets to leave, and he told us so earlier today at the weigh-in.
I come to my house to fight for somebody for the Bronx, and I come to win in my house.
Undefeated now and highly touted prospect Jeffrey Resto coming in. Only 7 professional fights, taking on Deleon, who's got 34 professional fights. Certainly the veteran. Is Resto concerned? I think a bigger concern tonight is he's never been past 6. This is his first scheduled 8-rounder. Is he up for the challenge? He had these thoughts.
Yeah, it's the first time I go 8 rounds, but you know, I'm ready. I could go 10, 12, but the knockout comes, it comes. Yeah, Bronx is that's my home place. That's where my fans are from, and I'm here to give a good show. You know, they're gonna see 100% from me. I know that. Great show, I guess, and so I'm just give it all I got.
Jeffrey Resto in the ring right now. Hasn't fought since May when he stopped Ike Asiji right here on the Star in 5 rounds. This has been not the longest layoff of his pro career, because remember, he started back in 1997, only had 1 fight then, 2 in 98. He's really got things on track, though, since April of 99. This will be his 5th fight since then. How do they match up on paper tonight? As we mentioned, Deleon 13-20-1, Resto undefeated 7-0. Deleon 39 years old, the KG veteran, 23 years old for the young Resto. Both now out of the Bronx. 3-pound weight advantage for Deleon shouldn't be a factor. Big height advantage and reach advantage, though. 6 inches in reach for Resto should be a very big factor if he gets that good jab of his started. Now up for our ring introductions. Mark Biro, take us away.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe DeGuardia Star Boxing presents the next contest of the evening, 8 rounds, welterweights. Your referee is the sensational Steve Smoger. Introducing in the red corner, wearing the gold trunks with the red trim, he weighs in at 147 3/4 pounds, el hijo de Santo Domingo en la República Dominica. Here is Manuel Deleon. Deleon. His opponent in the red corner, wearing the red, white, and green trunks, and weighing in at 144 3/4 pounds, he is undefeated in 7 professional bouts with 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the pride of the Bronx, Jeffrey Resto. Resto. 8 rounds, welterweights.
Habla inglés. Okay, gentlemen, you were given your instructions at the weigh-in. Obey my commands, respect the bell, above all, protect yourself. Touch him up, God bless.
Steve Smoger showing the 2 words of English that he knows. Excuse me, of Spanish, habla inglés. What would have happened, what would have happened if he said no? Steve would have been in a lot of trouble. Was he all of a sudden going to break into motor mouth Spanish? I don't think so. Scheduled for 8, and the first time that Resto's going to be in a scheduled 8-rounder. You take a look at some of the people, though, that his opponent tonight has fought, Steve.
Oh, yeah, all
Buddy
stars.
McGirt, Andrew Murray, the late Stefan Johnson, Hector Camacho, Ivan Robinson, and even a comebacking Meldrick Taylor back in September. It's just been incredible. People he's been in with, and notice another name on his record in 1988, Engels Pedroza.
Oh boy,
a fighter
puncher,
that I would have sworn was going to be a welterweight champion, and just never lived up to his potential.
Yeah, Deleon now 39 years old, clearly past his prime, but how much does he know, and how much can he teach Resto? That's really what this fight is about. I'd be shocked if there's any kind of upset, but this is a big step up for Resto.
He's been stopped 12 times in his career, so we'll see if it really makes a difference here, if Resto can get something started. Resto's got some good punching power. 4 knockouts in his 7 wins. Gets rocked, though, by that left jab. And early here in the fight, Deleon possibly taking it to school a little bit.
You'd think Deleon would have some rust. He hasn't fought in a year. His last fight was against Meldrick Taylor, of all people.
Went to full 8 with the comebacking Taylor. Last time he was stopped was in March of '99 by Bernice Barber in 5 rounds.
It's a thin line for Resto. You want to show the old man respect because he's been in with such good fighters. But if you show him too much respect, you forget to punch him. You can't do that. So Resto has to determine what kind of pace to fight at, whether he can get by coming forward or boxing. That's what he's doing now. He's studying his opponent.
My feeling is, I think, Steve, that Deleon's going to take him to school a little bit here in the early rounds, and that gets past 4. He's not going to have anything in the tank, and it's going to be all Resto. I don't think Resto has the experience to take him out early.
Unless, of course, Deleon has a lot less left than we think. Resto, real rangy for a welterweight. 5'11" is pretty tall for a welter.
Oh, he's got that big reach advantage here, and he's able to land the jab at will. Tries to go for a wild, telegraphing left hook. Wide open for a counter. Deleon didn't take advantage of it. Rocking Deleon back on his heels now with his jab, Steve.
Seems to be Resto's plan for round 1. Establish the jab. He's fighting at the distance he wants, which is arm's length.
Good first round, though, for the young kid. Back here on Star Boxing, Arnie Tokyo Rosenthal along with Steve Farhood. Right now we got welterweights in there. Undefeated Jeffrey Resto, 7-0. Taking a step up here tonight, not only in the number of scheduled rounds, but in terms of his opposition. Don't let the 13-20 record of Manuel Jesus de Leon fool you. As he's rocked back here, though, by Resto. Veteran fighter whose career started back in 1986. Veteran of 34 fights, in with a fighter that's had only 7 pro fights. Resto showing him no respect here, Steve.
Totally different fighter, Resto, from the first round. Totally different. He's picked up the pace big time. And I'll tell you what, the way the punches are coming, I don't think Deleon gets out of the round if Resto continues to fight this way.
Resto not fighting like he's concerned about going the full 8. Still showing some poise, not going wild here, picking his spots. Real precision punching right now. Not using his jab though, Steve. And I think that's a mistake. I think he could be setting up a knockout punch with the jab. Steve Smoger's not going to let Deleon take this kind of beating very long.
Resto's really one punch away. Big left hook to the body. There it goes. Delayed reaction. Yeah. Spits his mouthpiece out.
This fight's over.
That was a left hook to the solar plexus.
No, it's all over. Don't even count, Steve. It's all over. And what an impressive stoppage on the part of Jeffrey Resto with the veteran Manuel Jesus Deleon. What a devastating show for Jeffrey Resto. You have to be impressed, and Resto really has his career. And take a look here. Resto moving in. I can't even say throwing caution to the wind because nothing coming back from Deleon at that point. And take a look, keep your eye open for the body shot. That's going to drop on a delayed reaction, incidentally. We're going to take a look now at the knockdown. There's Resto coming out real fast. Keep an eye out for the body shot. And you're going to see a delayed reaction. Is that left hook to the body and down to one knee, spitting out the mouthpiece. And Deleon had no intention of getting up at that point. Keep in mind, he did manage to go 8 full rounds with the comebacking Meldrick Taylor, and Jeffrey Resto stopping him here in 2 rounds. So, real impressive. And I know I keep saying that, but we did not expect that sort of quick stoppage. We were looking for something after the 4th round. Academic at this point how Resto would have reacted to going into the deep water for a scheduled 8-rounder. Didn't want to experience it. He takes his man out in 2. We're going to get the official time of the stoppage from our ring announcer, Mark Bureau.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 35 seconds of the 2nd round. The winner by tactical knockout and still undefeated, Jeffrey Resto.
All right, Jeffrey Resto, very happy with this performance. Now we're going to see if he can articulate how he feels, because he's up with one of the better journalists in boxing, Steve Farhood.
Thank you, Arn. Jeffrey, totally different fighter from round 1 to round 2. Round 1, you studied the old man a little bit. Round 2, you really took it to him.
Well, yeah, the guy had a lot of experience. I only got 7 fights, so it's 8 now. So I just had to study him, see what he had some pauses and that. Fortunately, came on knocking him out.
Did you get the impression when you opened up in the 2nd round that he wasn't going to last, that you knew you'd catch him that round?
When I caught him with the hook, he wobbled a little, and I noticed, so I jumped on him, and I took care of business. Then I went to the body and finished him.
The last punch, devastating left hook to the liver. Is that a punch you practice a lot?
Exactly, yeah. That's the punch I practice. That's my power punch, the body.
And it was a delayed reaction. When you landed it, did you expect him to go down?
I mean, I was about to throw another one, but I see him go down. But that's how it goes when you get hit in the body. It takes a few seconds to react.
I got to ask you one question that has nothing to do with this fight. You're half Mexican, half Puerto Rican, right?
I am.
Today I was at a press conference. Trinidad, Vargas, Puerto Rico against Mexican-American. Who's going to win that fight?
I don't know.
The Mexican in you says Vargas, the Puerto Rican says Trinidad, right?
Exactly, yeah. So
No
I wish
big?
the best of luck to both of them. No big. They both good fighters.
Well, if you keep advancing at this rate, Jeffrey, you'll be up with those guys soon enough. Jeffrey Resto, sensational knockout win. Let's go back to Arnie.
Well, sensational win and very diplomatic in terms of predicting fights of fellow ancestry. Well, nevertheless, Resto 8-0, and that's his 5th win by way of knockout. Manuel Deleon will drop down to 13-21-1. More to come. Stay with us on The Star.
Can't get enough of Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing? Download the Star Boxing TV app or check out our Roku channel to watch exclusive content and classic fights. Every punch, every knockout, every screen. The Star Boxing TV app gives you exclusive access to every moment of Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. Available on Apple, Android, and Roku. Just search Star Boxing to get in the ring.
All right, we're back at ringside, and I got to tell you, Steve, diplomacy certainly runs in the family of Resto. Very, didn't know whether to go Trinidad or Vargas.
Doesn't want to insult anybody.
But I tell you, for a fighter of that age, at this point, to have that kind of body punching and the poise of a liver shot to the left, to stop, I mean, Roy Jones does that in his fights, but, 20 fights in, 25 fights in against Virgil Hill.
Resto may be half Puerto Rican, half Mexican, but that left hook to the liver was pure Mexican, because that's the first punch they teach you in Mexico. They show you tapes of Ruben Olivares landing that left hook to the liver. It totally paralyzes a fighter, and you saw the delayed reaction there.
Well, the star makes stars, and it was another terrific night here swinging on the star. For Steve Farhood, I'm Arnie Tokyo Rosenthal. Good night, Carrie. I'm coming home.